Hello everybody and welcome to the worldcupnow.com. This is our first video for 2013 and it is going to be a good one. We're going to give you some wildcard tips. Hopefully you haven't used yours if you made yours available this week, or you have used yours last week. You're going to be out of luck. But again, we've had some very important goings-ons, if you will. We've got the January transfer window going on right now. We've had key players go to the African Cup of Nations, and again, this is making for a good start to the new year for managers. And if you are not on your toes and you're not paying attention to what's going on, you will have a bad week. So, getting into the swing of things, I just wanted to go through my team. I don't think I'm going to be doing a full post. I'm just going to do a video post this week, just because I know tomorrow and Friday are going to be busy days for me, so it's easier for me to give you some tips over the air and just do a screencast for you and let you know what's going on. So for starting off on my team, the Night's Watch, we do have a double game week. You'll notice that I have loaded up a little bit, but you can see here that on the 23rd, I believe that is a Wednesday, maybe a Tuesday. No, I think that's a Tuesday. Arsenal and West Ham are going to be playing a double game week, so they are going to have more of an opportunity or a higher probability of getting points for you. So as you can see, my team hasn't changed entirely too much. I've liked this rotation of having Begovic and Jääskeläinen as goaltenders because they're both very good goaltenders. They do have good point totals, and what I like about them, and I've had them since the beginning of the season, is that they alternate home and away games. So if Jääskeläinen's at home, Begovic will be away, and vice versa. So you can switch out, and you're always going to have a goalie at home, and typically players play better and have a higher probability of keeping a clean sheet when they are home. Now, getting into this kind of double game week between Arsenal and West Ham, you can see that I do have 6 players. You are only allowed 3 players each from each team, no matter what, just based on the rules. But you can see for West Ham, I've got Jääskeläinen in net, Demel, who's a good semi-offensive but reliable West Ham defender. And then I've also got Nolan up front too, who's typically, if West Ham's scoring, he's creating the play. He is either, instigating, getting some free space so that he can pass off, get a good cross in, or he's at the receiving end and putting it in the back of the net. So 3 players that you can consider. Using your wild card, you do want to consider not stocking entirely your team up, simply because after this game week, you're going to have to go back to having a normal, setup, if you will. You don't want to be overloaded or heavy in any specific team, which I will be at the end of this week. However, you'll notice that I still have my front 3 of Lambert, Van Persie, and Tevez. Typically, I don't want to mess with those, and I suggest that if you are doing your wild card this week, don't go heavy on the forwards, because that's where the majority of the points are coming from, and you want to be diversified in terms of the teams and who you have as players. So you don't really want to load up with like a Podolski, a Shamak, and someone else. You don't want to be loaded up front, because there's going to be plenty of offensive opportunities elsewhere in other games that you can still get good points off of. Now you can see that Van Persie is my captain. This is tentative because I may make Walcott my captain, simply because he's going to have a higher opportunity to get points. He is playing 2 games, and if he scores in 2 games, that's 2 goals, and the points tend to add up quite a bit. Now, going back to my point of fixing or correcting your team once you're done the double game week, it's better to have defensive and midfielders because you have more options to field. You'll notice that with my defense, I'm pretty much loaded up right now. However, you can see that I have Ivanovic and Shawcross still on the bench. They will come back up next week, and then I have my choice pending any trades, because I'll have a free trade after this double game week. I can choose Gibbs, Demo, or Jenkinson in terms of playing them. Typically, if I was going to decide now, it would probably be Gibbs, Ivanovic, and Shawcross who are going to be my back line. And then I got to worry about Nolan and Walcott. And typically, if you think about it, Walcott and Nolan are pretty much in the top 20 of midfielders. And then you can also see that I still have Sterling, and I've picked up Michu. So I'm thinking or hoping that Michu is going to have a good back half of the season to help Swansea stay up and get further up the further up the table or whatnot, but just have a repeat of the first half of the first half of the season. So hopefully that'll go through. But again, I'll still have that free transfer whether I want to get Wildcard or Nolan out and get a different exposure to other teams. So again, just kind of keep that aware. Don't switch your forwards up, because that's going to be harder to replace, because values change weekly. If Van Persie scores or Tevez scores and you traded them this week, their value is going to go up. Now, to solidify why capitalizing on a double game week is important is if you go back and you look at your points, or look who made the majority or who had the majority of points last week, you can see that even with only 4 players playing a double game week last week, Ivanovic, who didn't even play in today's game, I'm recording this on Wednesday, you've got Hazard, Puncheon, and Lambert. Those were the only 4 that I had. Now, granted, all the 3 of them scored in pretty much each game, with the exception of Ivanovic and Puncheon. However, your point totals, the possibility or the probability of your point totals being larger is greater than if you didn't have them. It's pretty much simple statistics. Obviously, if you got more players who are going to play more, you're going to get more points. Now, with this current setup, if things just kind of went through and they didn't even score, just the fact that I have 6 different players playing twice means that I'm going to get an extra 12 points. Pending any yellow cards, etc. But it's all stuff that you can't control. It's all about the probability. You can't really control it, but having that opportunity, whether you take it or not, I would rather take it. It's risk, and I'd rather put the risk on, and because when you put the risk on, you get the benefits of when it does go right. So again, keep your eye out. In terms of who I've seen come in through the transfer window, I haven't really seen anyone where you're like, oh, okay, this guy's going to make a difference at XYZ club. This is going to be someone I'm going to put on my watch list so I can pick him up. Haven't really seen anyone like that yet, but again, it's only January 16th, and there's still another 2 weeks in the transfer window. So if you haven't used your wild card, good on you. Hopefully you've been able to use your free transfers to configure your team so you are taking as best advantage as you can. But if you haven't, then my suggestion or my tip would be to keep an eye out on players who are going to be coming in who you think are going to make a substantial difference to other teams. Like QPR or people who are in relegation that are really, really fighting for their tooth and nail. Because those are the guys that are going to go out, they're going to score, they're going to be tough. You run the risk of yellow cards because they're going to be playing hard, but again, you kind of want to, at least 1 or 2 of those guys on your team that you can rotate through. So again, thank you for watching. I appreciate all your comments and your emails. Please keep them coming, and please visit me at theworldcup.com if you are watching this on YouTube, and if you are watching this on the website. I always appreciate it. Thank you very much. And as always, best of luck, and I will see you next game week. Take care.